So initiative. For those people who, and this isn't just for Libras, I know that this thing will say that it's a Libra thing, but not really, because being Libra, at least this form, the identifiedness of it all is kind of like rooted in the Libra thing. It's very reactive energy, especially because it's something that you associate with. I was going to do something about this. I was talking about initiative and all that stuff because initiative is something that it's really the core of it that came to me while I was doing a cold shower was initiative is a strong desire, so strong that it pushes you, kind of propels you towards something that you get inspired to do, right? But it's more than that. It's also kind of like it aligns with the form that you're in, that your soul chose to be in. Um, then I was watching this video about how how it all comes down to like the truth is that in the all grand scheme of things and everything, you are consciousness itself, like it's expanding consciousness. But one thing that I was kind of going into is this whole, or one thing that I realized for myself is that even though that is the truth, is that when we live in this life here on this planet, this form, any real form, is that we play a role. And it could be that when we play a role, it's kind of like you can say that there should be a balance between what do you call this? A balance between playing that role itself and also not identifying with it. It's kind of like you're observing you're playing the role. So that kind of ties in with everything that we're going through that you see on a lot of things. But when I was watching this video, this guy, he's like, he's pretty much caught it because he had an awakening and he was like, one thing that I wanted to add to that is that there might be this, because I kind of misunderstood it for like a few seconds. And I was like, so does that mean that we're not going to play a role? Well, actually, you already play the role. That's the thing. When we start to observe it less and less, we become more, I guess, as we awaken, I suppose, as if the further we awaken, the more we see the world we're playing. So we become the observer of, eventually, I thought this somewhere, I read it somewhere that someone posted this, or was it I forgot who it was. They said that when we play a role, as we awaken further, we start to realize that we are the player of the game, and you observe the game itself. But even above that, is we become the observer of the observer. So in other words, not even becoming, we start to realize, oh, right? Because in this video, he talks about you feel your hands. So it's kind of like the parallel analogy is the hand is like the game. The role that you're in that's the game. Then you become the observer of it. Or rather you feel it. That's the player. But the observer of the player is the essence itself. And not to make it sort of like, oh, there's 3 levels. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. The point is this whole thing. It's really hard and quite challenging, but not impossible, to process all that, let alone even go past it. Because we're all in our own little journeys. Some of us awaken faster, some of us awaken, spontaneously, and it's like intense. Some of us don't. Some of us, it's little tidbits. We're given like little morsels or, breadcrumbs along the way. And that's because of the conditioned state that comes through this body, this form that goes like, okay, this is the way the form understands it. This is the way, because otherwise it would not be awakening. It would be like, you're not connecting to purpose itself, which is how the universe is expanding. It's learning of itself. Therefore, if we have certain physicalities, certain physiologies that cannot handle that, it's almost like, well, what's the reason for that? But that could also be the case. Sometimes you go, not necessarily, well, I'm not talking about awakening. I'm talking about sometimes there's shocks that we go through. That's just like, probably, perhaps that's part of the process as well. I don't know. And that's okay. But anyways, tying this to the whole initiative thing is that sometimes, probably sometimes, getting very technical today. Like maybe sometimes like initiative itself is not necessarily the key itself. Like it's not necessarily about initiative. It's more about, is it coming from what's considered inspired, meaning like you connected, but it starts from, I think it really starts from the lowest ends. When we start to get sick and tired of the trauma, the limitations of beliefs that were in the body, in the past, in the history, pretty much everything, we start to get sick of the other levels, and we start to go up, and we start to go up, and we start to go up, and go like this. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. It just keeps going, right? Whether the direction is upward or this way or downward, upward, doesn't matter. The point is, it is expansion. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that. It was just kind of an insight that came to me in the shower. And then I saw this video of this guy, I forgot his name, Ascender. That's his YouTube name. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that. So thanks.